Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris, man. And as always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. At this particular time, I'm not sure what I'm going to entitle this video. But from time to time, I get some pretty interesting questions, and I think that they might be helpful to the masses. So I do a full video as opposed to just responding to one individual. And, I just want to say this in general. Life is just a learning experience. Every day you learn something, hopefully. And you fumble and stumble through things, and you kind of figure things out or find ways that suit you or your needs. And the question was, how do you go about choosing the right guitars for you? Whether you're playing covers, playing in the band, gigging, or doing studio work, how do you go about that process of finding the right one? And there's really no one set answer to that question other than you just keep kind of experimenting, because I'm gonna give you I give good example. You see me play electric all the time. If I had my way in the perfect world for me personally, I will play acoustic all the time and play a lot of folk music because I love that. I mean, everybody has their own individual unique like, and I just love folk music and I love strumming, but unfortunately, it's a love and a passion that I don't get a chance to experience on a regular basis. Because the bands that I play in, we don't do folk, and so it's like, when can I use this? When can I do it? So I enjoy doing it. And as far as acoustic guitars are concerned, because I think some of us, and I can't speak for everybody, but for me personally, you enjoy electric guitars because the necks are small. It's easier to play. Acoustic guitars, for some reason, the strings are much thicker, and you have to kind of put thicker gauge strings on acoustic to get that big broad sound. Because the Keith Urban guitar that I have, and I did a review on it yesterday. I love this guitar. It sounds good. It projects, and I'm going to leave well enough alone because if I had my way, I would change the strings to a much lighter gauge, but it would also change the tonality of the guitar. So guitars like this that have thick gauge strings that are kind of rough on the hands, I strictly kind of use those for open chord playing, like for folk music, because it has such a big bold sound. Let me see if I can do this. That sounds great. It sounds really good. And I can't do that on, let me try to put this one down. I can't do that on this. I mean, I could do that. It sounds so thin, so that it makes a difference to the gauge of strings. But again, it's kind of like a trade-off. So what I do is I have two guitars for certain purposes or specific purposes. Like for that guitar, folk music, strumming, open chords sounds good, projects really good. It's not a guitar that I will play a lot of, down here, up and down the neck. I just strictly kind of play it up there. And as far as, I can't really do too much of that on there neither because the strings are so thick. So I have another guitar, designed specifically for when I want to do, up and down the neck with acoustic sound. Because, again, I had to change these strings to light gauge so I can do that. But I can't do what I do on that guitar on this one. Because, again, it's just so thin. So you have to sometimes customize your playing, because there's some people that can probably play that guitar and play it as far as open chords and up and down the neck. They got big hands, they got strong hands, and they can do it. I'm like, my hands kind of get exhausted when I'm trying to play thicker gauge strings on an acoustic guitar. But it's sad because it sounds so beautiful with those thick gauge strings. So that's kind of how I kind of go through my process of customizing the guitars for my liking and be able to play them comfortably. So again, I love this guitar, but I love that sound. And I mentioned yesterday as far as the comparison between the Keith Urban guitar and the Esteban guitar. And I kind of thought about this later because, as you do these videos, you can't remember everything that you want to put in them. And then you review it and say, man, I should mention that. And what I noticed about the Esteban guitars, and I'm not trashing them. I'm not a negative person. I ain't trying to trash nothing. I'm just giving you my observation. I was quite taken back by the quality of this guitar because this is it's heavy. It's this solid wood. That Esteban guitar, remember when I bought it and when it came, the wood was so thick. I mean, so thin and cheap. It's like, I don't think it was natural wood. I think it was kind of, I don't know what term because I'm not a laborer as far as wood grains, but I think it was kind of more like a pressed plywood type of thing than actual wood, because this thing got some weight to it like a normal expensive guitar. Doesn't feel light in the ass like that Esteban guitar, and then the Esteban guitar, the action was real high. Like I said, the reason why I'm kind of hard on that particular product because Esteban is a guitar player, and it's like guitar players know what other guitar players like. It's basically kind of what you like. You want low action, you want it to sound good, you want it to feel good, and last and least to look good. I'm at that stage in my life. I don't care about the look thing. When I was 20 years old, yeah, I cared about the look thing. But being older, I don't care about the look thing. I care about the feel thing and the sound thing, and more so the feel thing, because if it don't feel good, it sounding good is kind of pointless to me because I can't enjoy playing it. So that's kind of how I determine, the type of folk or class acoustic guitar that I'm going to use. And I also was asked this question: out of all the types of guitars that you play and the style that you play, guitar styles or guitar models that make, if I had to press you for one answer as far as what is your favorite guitar style or guitar brand, not brand, but model or make, it has to be the Telly. I go through this Telly thing, back and forth as far as just playing them for a long period of time and nothing else. And I love it. I mean, I was watching G.E. Smith. He used to be a guitar player in the house band on Saturday Night Live. And I follow his career even further back than that when he played with the late Dan Hartman. He played guitar. And the Double O Love album that had, I think it was Relight My Fire and Instant Replay. That was the disco hit. And it was a song called Double O Lovin'. And it was two guitar players in the band at the time. And I think the other guitar player name was Vinny that actually played with Kiss years later. So him and G. Smith was with Dan Hartman. And they did these solos on that song Double O Lovin', and they jam. I mean, both those solos were just great. But as I was watching the G. Smith video about, his love for Telecasters and why, and a lot of things he said, I totally agree. He said, this is probably one guitar that you can get so many different types of styles. It's so versatile. It's more versatile than any guitar I've ever played. Because, of course, you can do the twangy country and western thing with this. You can do the funk thing. Prince did it for years. You can do, the R&B thing. You can do the blues thing. You can even kind of get away with some of the jazz things. I remember one year I got called for a gig, and it was a jazz gig. And it's like, we need you because the other guy, he can't make it. I think his wife's having a baby. And I said, I can come, but I can't bring, my jazz guitar because I'm not in the area to grab it. I have my Telly here at the studio. Just bring it, man. Come on. So I went down there and I got away with it. I was able to kind of, get a jazzy tone instead of that high-end, thick, thin sound that Tellys are known for. So this is really one of the few guitars that it just about can do anything. And what I notice about Tellys versus any other guitar is when you play them in a complement of a cover or with the band, it tends to kind of cut through the mix. Because a lot of times you have to bump up your volume to get into the mix, but then you don't want to do that because the guitar becomes distorted. So this is one of the few guitars that it just cuts through the mix. You can just hear it distinctively, clearly, clean. So I'm going to basically sign off now, but that's my thing. That's kind of how I go about making decisions on what I play. And I just kind of want to say this. And I'm assuming that this has already been done, but it's on such a small scale that it's not the masses. My biggest complaint with playing acoustic all these years is this: when are they gonna make a guitar, acoustic guitar that has slightly a smaller neck? They're all that standard size neck that's kind of wide. It's like, man, it's like, is somebody out there thinking to say, hey, let's give a group of people a little something different that accustomed to them? Because I don't have big hands, so it's like, as much as I enjoy them, I struggle to play them sometimes for that simple reason, and that definitely goes for the classical guitar. I think Lindsey Buckingham from Fleetwood Mac has kind of a custom made. It looks like a classical slash electric guitar, and I think the neck is smaller. I'm like, I would love to have a classical guitar. The neck's just a little smaller, and not to be confused with getting a little smaller student guitar. You know. I wish that this was just a little bit smaller. But that's just my thoughts on this. And hopefully this might have been helpful to somebody out there because, sometimes you're looking for something and somebody has the answer out there, so you can stop looking and start just working on playing now. So that is my 2 cents in regards to that topic. How do I go about selecting the guitars that I play? There it is. Until next time, thanks for watching.